this cycle, I switched my ETH into Solana last year, about August, and that really, really paid off. If I use a few charts and a bit of, log charts, I get somewhere between 800 and 1200. In a complete bubble cycle, I think it can go above 2000. In a short stunted cycle, 750, something like that. But it's still all to play for, is the point. Crypto is the best performing asset in the world for 3 years, and then it's the worst for 1 year. That first year is known as crypto spring. Sometimes it can be a bit choppy. It could be like spring. Some days it rains, some days it's sunny, but every day it gets a bit warmer. We had a pretty decent crypto spring. I mean, Bitcoin was up 150%. Then we started, and we're in the process of transitioning to crypto summer. And crypto summer is when you start hitting all-time highs and things start going bananas. And we're very close to that now. We've got to the all-time high in Bitcoin, and we've been messing around. So whether by the time this video comes out or not, it's broken out or it hasn't, we don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's pretty standard to have a chop around for a bit. And then fireworks happen. And really the fireworks truly happen when altcoin season comes. And that comes in crypto summer. And we're starting to see the first signs of that. It's been meme coin season for a while now. And I think it will drag, the big memes like Doge up.
Raoul Pal predicts a bullish future for Solana and sets ambitious price targets despite the current market downturn. Solana has recently attracted considerable attention due to its recent performance and promising future prospects. Paul provided a bullish forecast for the price of Solana, which is driven by the evolution of its technology and market dynamics. He is confident in the future price increase of Solana, especially in 2025. He predicts that the price of Solana will increase significantly, especially during the expected crypto summer. Paul believes that a 100% increase is likely, considering it is a conservative estimate. He suggests a 300% increase as most typical, equating the potential price of Solana to $600. Using further chart analysis, he further speculates that Solana could reach between $800 and $1,200 during a full bubble cycle, with the possibility of breaking above $2,000. Even in a shorter cycle, Paul predicts a price of around $750. One of the main drivers of Paul's optimism is Solana's new validator, FireDancer, capable of handling 1 million transactions per second. This opens up possibilities for high-frequency trading and the possibility of exchanges like NASDAQ operating on the blockchain. According to Raoul Pal, Solana can cross the $2,000 mark by the end of 2025. But before we move forward, if you want to stay updated with the latest crypto events and news, you can subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's get back to Raoul Pal's view on Solana and the overall crypto market.
When I look at the adoption of cryptocurrency, so you use as a proxy the number of active wallets. Now, we all know that's not a perfect proxy because people have multiple wallets. But you compare that to IP addresses for the internet, start them at both 5 million. Now, people have multiple IP addresses as well. So it's very similar. It's just directionally gives you an idea. Crypto is growing at twice the speed of the internet in terms of adoption. So it's the fastest adoption of any technology and any asset class the world has ever seen. So if we just assume that growth slows, as it did with the internet, because once you get bigger and bigger numbers, it's hard to grow at such a rate. So it goes from, let's say, 175% a year where it's been trending and goes to 43% a year, which is what the internet did from year 8 onwards. Well, crypto gets to 1 billion people by the end of next year. 1 billion active wallets, and it gets to 4 billion by 2030. Well, at 4 billion, the price will certainly be $1 million. So it kind of backs out from the adoption of the technology and of the log chart, because the log chart basically is the adoption of the technology.
Raoul Pal predicted a crypto summer and a massive altcoin season after Bitcoin halving and through 2025. This prediction is part of his Everything Code thesis, which explains market movements due to macroeconomic influences. Everything is determined by liquidity, which bottomed out in late 2022, he said, before adding that the macroeconomic summer and fall are all about increasing liquidity, with liquidity expected to increase through late 2025. Assets such as tech stocks and cryptocurrencies perform well during this period. He added that the biggest play is the altcoin season, or the banana zone, likely referring to the massive gains in parabolic price charts of some altcoins. Paul's Everything Code thesis which he published in 2023 as a culmination of everything he has worked on since 2005, argues that current asset prices are determined primarily by central bank monetary policies and debt levels rather than traditional business fundamentals or economic growth. High levels of global government debt are forcing central banks to print money through quantitative easing to make interest payments, creating a cycle where more quantitative easing is needed each year as debt is rolled over. This leads to fiat current depreciation, causing asset prices to rise, regardless of company performance or valuations. Technology and cryptocurrencies are generally far better in this environment, as their growth potential counteracts the depreciating effects of quantitative easing. Paul projected the price of Bitcoin at $1 million based on the growth of digital asset wallets. Let's say it goes from 175% a year, where it tends to increase, to 43% a year, which is what the internet did from year 8 onwards. He added, cryptocurrency will reach 1 billion people by the end of next year, 1 billion active wallets, and it will reach 4 billion by 2030. With 4 billion wallets, the price will surely be $1 million. It is difficult to determine the exact rate of cryptocurrency adoption worldwide, although a recent survey of consumers in 50 countries around the world indicates that adoption is largely growing. Paul added that as the flagship of one of the fastest growing asset classes in the world, Bitcoin is on an inevitable path to higher prices. Cryptocurrencies are going twice as fast as the internet in terms of adoption, he added, so this is the fastest adoption of any technology in any asset class that the world has ever seen. His adoption estimate is based on the number of active crypto wallets, and he admitted that this figure is not a perfect indicator because investors may have multiple wallets and not all cryptocurrency holdings can be publicly verified. But his larger point was that because many metrics demonstrate significant growth in digital asset adoption, comparing it to internet adoption just gives you an idea in a directional way. Paul also admitted that a $1 million Bitcoin price projection seems as ridiculous today as it did when he first invested in Bitcoin at a price of $200. At the time, he predicted the asset would hit $100,000, a possibility he said was largely dismissed. So $1 million doesn't seem absurd. Mainstream cryptocurrency adoption and Bitcoin price are not intrinsically linked, but Bitcoin remains the market leader for digital assets, and it stands to reason that adoption will continue to be led by the flagship asset. He noted that the current business cycle, with falling inflation and rising liquidity, generally favors crypto assets. Paul reassured investors about the recent market turmoil, noting that 30% drops are common in crypto and often present buying opportunities. You should think of these sales as a gift, Paul said. The current business cycle, with falling inflation and rising liquidity, generally favors crypto assets. As for the impact of ETFs, Paul suggested that recent net inflows indicate a growing investor understanding of crypto's role in combating the erosion of purchasing power. He made a bold prediction saying that this crypto space will grow from the current $2 trillion to $100 trillion by 2032-2034, adding, this would be the largest and fastest accumulation of wealth in human history.